Hello, it's Jessica Draper-Mann from Something Old, Something New, and I'm chatting with the amazing Rachel from
Hello.
Marie Franc, and we're going to be chatting all things new music, particularly the new single Pendle Hill, which has come out on Beltane itself. What a
Yeah.
day to choose for a song as amazing as this. I'm going to chat a little bit about what 2026 has in store for Marie Franc and so much more.
I'm Rachel. I'm from the band Marie Franc, and we're going to be talking and playing our new song, Pendle Hill.
So what is Pendle Hill about? What's the backstory behind it? Because it's quite a people will look at it and go, oh, what's so special
Yeah.
about Pendle Hill? What's kind of the story behind the track?
Yeah, I grew up in and around Lancashire, so the story of the Pendle Witches has always been like a bit of a fascination for me, personally. So originally it started, the song lyrically was a retelling of the execution of the Pendle Witches. And what's really interesting and what I find quite moving is that these women that were executed in this period of time obviously weren't witches. I mean, maybe if you're into that sort of stuff, perhaps they could have been, but I think as the song grew, I kind of started to relate it to the violence against women that's still happening today. And that women all around the world are still facing persecution for living as themselves, slash, violence at the hands of men.
And it's that it's such an incredible time to release a single like this with what is going on in the world kind of thing. I mean, even in the music industry itself and in general, you've got presidents that are a bit of a state. You've got kind of there's been hundreds of documentaries about stuff kind of coming out. Luther's recent, like the Manosphere one. I think it's such an incredible song. And kind of I think there's a lot of hope kind of thing of it's a thing of a hope of we cannot go back to this, and I think it's such a an important track to have right now, and it's absolutely gorgeous as well in the way
Yeah.
it's done. It's so brilliantly raw in the way you've kind of weaved the story in and kind of related it to modern times as well. I love it. It's so good. It's so
I'm
gorgeous.
good. I'm glad you like it. So I would say it's definitely like a feminine rage anthem. That's probably how I'd describe the song. And we recorded it, just to point out some of the production that you mentioned. Yeah, we recorded it in Manchester as well. So it was recorded in a studio in Ancoats called Pinhole Studio. And the night that we were recording the song, we walked out and it was like beautiful pink skies.
Wow.
I know, and it was really weird because the first lyrics of the songs are almond pink skies. So when we walked out of the studio and I looked up into the sky, all the sky was just like this beautiful pink color, and I was like, that feels like a sign.
That's amazing. But I feel like with all of kind of especially with the previous singles with Fabric and with Leave the Light On, there is this kind of magic element kind of thing. There is a whimsicality in the way they are done, bit of
Yeah.
shoegaziness. I mean, with Pendle Hill, it's a bit darker than kind of they are with the backstory, and I think with the tonality. So it's feminine rage anthem, but where did kind of the inspiration behind having it be kind of more of a darker song kind of thing rather than being something a bit more whimsical in a way? What made you choose that kind of dark tone? How'd that come about?
Do you know what? I'm not. It's a difficult question to answer. I think fabric is so beautiful, but it's so light and it's quite airy. And as you say, it's quite whimsical. I love the word whimsical. So I'd say, um, Pendle is definitely the dark to fabric's light. We wanted to kind of give that balance, to what will be the EP. There's going to be a lot of dark and light, that sort of vibe. And this sounds really rude, but we we got a new guitarist called Spaggy. And Spaggy joined, and he kind of brought like this darkness and this edge in like a really nice way. So yeah, that's probably where that darkness came from, really. And then it just kind of led into like this kind of like kind of folk horror retelling of this story.
I think it's that thing though, is when you kind of you I think with musicians there's a very much a joke of like everyone is in each other's bands kind of thing. But I
Yeah.
think having that collaboration, I think it's when someone comes in, you kind of see someone in a different way. I think that's the magic of music, of one person can come in and it
Yeah.
changes everything. I think
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
one of the best things.
definitely. I mean, our past guitarist, Kez, an amazing guitarist. He's only left the band because to focus on his career, and he got engaged, and loads of exciting like personal life stuff happened. And obviously, as the band gets busier, that kind of takes over a lot of stuff within a
Yeah.
personal life. So it is quite difficult trying to manage that, the balance. So yeah, as you say, like bringing a whole new personality into the room, especially, we are a very collaborative band. It's not so much like we'll write this, we all write all of the songs together. Like Spaggy walked in with the riff, and then we built around it across a series of evenings, and then the song was done.
Is it? I love that though. I love the fact of kind of I love the fact you all write on it, because I know there's some bands that are like only lead singers do it, or the
Yeah.
bassist writes a song but the lead singer sings it and the bassist has no voice on it. I love that kind of collaboration you've got, and I think it really works. It's almost like you've got your own kind of little coven going on as a band.
Yeah, I mean the boys are in a coven. The boys write. I mean, Trav wrote the initial riff to Fabric. He came into the studio and wrote that. And when he first showed me the riff for Saturday Boy, I don't know if you've heard that. Like I burst into tears when I heard that, because I just thought it was so beautiful and moving, like the guitar line that he'd written. So I mean, there's been lots of stuff that we've all each brought into the studio where we've been like, oh, it's not very good, we'll part that. But then something just chimes. It's just like one little moment of like, I don't know, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but there's just a moment in the studio where something will just chime and the song will start to fall into place. Like writing a song is very much like problem solving, and I kind of like it. It's a bit like geocaching.
Yeah. It's like when all the bits click, it's all kind
Yeah.
of spot on. I mean, speaking of things clicking and everything, the band is Marie Franc, which
Yeah,
it's related to yourself.
that's right. Yeah. So my
Yeah.
middle name's Maria Francesca. So I initially started the band probably in lockdown. I wrote an EP called Birthday, and yeah, it's my name, but we are a band. It's not just me and
Yeah.
band.
A lot of people will go for having the band names, or some people will do like, here is like the band name, but it's me in a band kind of thing. What was kind of the choice between having like Marie Franc over having maybe like the kind of more overarching band name kind of thing?
So I was already Marie Franc when I brought out Warthog and Beatrice. So I think because I already had that platform, it just made sense to keep it. And plus, I couldn't think of like a different band name. Although I was in the shower the other day and I was thinking to myself that maybe Tan Lines would be a good band name, but no one steal that.
That I could see that being a really like I think very like hazy synths kind of thing. That's what comes to
Yeah,
mind to me of like I
yeah,
can imagine titles of like Sunburn and everything coming out of that. It would be brilliant.
yeah. So no one take that from me. That's gonna be
No
my
one,
off.
no one pop it into Band Generator. That is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Marie Frank property. Tan
yeah,
Lines, the band name. I mean, there's been a lot of development as well. I mean, you've spoken about having Ben as your new guitarist. You've obviously releasing new music, and then you've been releasing music quite a few years now. Kind of, what would you say has kind of changed in the music industry? What change have you seen in the industry since you've been making music? Because there has been a lot of changes with
yeah.
rise of AI. There's a lot of AI music coming out. You're looking at the way that the music industry operates. How would you say it's changed
Yeah.
since you started making music?
I started making music when probably in 2014, actually. That, I've been a musician for a very long
Yeah,
time. I used to just make folk music. So I used to play at like the Deaf Institute and the Castle, but I was just a solo artist. It'd just be me and my guitar, and I made quite like folky music because I think my first love has always been folk music. And I used to just put songs out on SoundCloud.
oh, the good old SoundCloud.
Yeah, actually, I think so it's nearly 10 years now, isn't it, that I've been a musician. And I think that the biggest change that I've seen happen is like the digital footprint that we need to have as musicians, and like the need to be a content creator on top of being a musician is, it's something that I'm not very good at slash completely new to. is trying to churn out this content so that people listen to your music. That's probably the biggest change that I've seen in the past like 10 years, is because when I was just making music on SoundCloud, it was, I didn't have a social media. It was just like putting music out. And AI, obviously, as I said, had a big not influx, that's the wrong word, impact on music, probably for the worse. There's lots of musicians now on Spotify that are making AI only music, which is damaging and quite frankly not artistic for the rest of musicians that are genuinely taking the time to write, perfect and perform actual music. I do think AI has its place in some ways,
Yeah.
I guess. Like we mastered our track using AI, which saved us some money and made things a bit easier. But I think that's the only place that we would use it, is in
Yeah.
kind of mastering way, because that's the techie part, and I don't know enough about mastering to talk about it, even though I'm going to try. But that's where I think AI can be a tool, but I don't think AI should be writing music, full stop.
Yeah, because I think there is a big thing of like, to me, I feel like mastering music with it, I think is great as long as it goes through something. That's my big thing, of as long as a human has looked at it, that's
Yeah,
my
yeah,
big
yeah,
thing. But it's very much like, for me, I feel like medicine's a huge thing. I always think of if there's like surgeries and stuff that cannot be done, but you need to kind of like work out how you'd go about it. Like, to
yeah,
me, that sort of stuff made like, and I think for me, with it, I think it works some way in music. I think especially with DIY musicians, you are on such a limited budget. So it's
mm-hmm.
very understandable why some turn to it. I think as long as you're not popping your music into like Suno AI and whatever and then popping it on
Yeah,
Spotify, I think that's like the best way to go about it, when it's not like just like the be all end all kind of thing.
we self-release everything, and we work with Adam at Pinhole and Ancoats in Manchester, and yeah, I think that is the only time we've ever used AI, was in mastering. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it worked all right. I don't know enough about AI. I'm a bit of a rock, to be honest. It's all happening around me and I'm not really engaging.
Yeah. I feel that, very much feel that. I mean, kind of like, going back to kind of chatting about content and stuff. I know
Yeah,
you say it's like strong suit, but I'd say the stuff you've put out for Pendle Hill has been
yeah,
amazing, because it's very much this kind of, because it's very much I think it's one thing going on. Whereas you sometimes
mm,
find when people are putting some stuff out, it's like, here's 10 videos at once and there's about 100 things going on. It's like, oh my gosh. Whereas yours is just like, we're stood on a hill, we're standing our ground. This is the
yeah,
message of it. And I think it's really effective. I love the way that I love the way you do Storytown as a band, though, is it's kind of, there's always something for everyone can kind of be like, oh, actually I like this, and there's this, and it all kind of clicks together
oh
when I
no,
kind of look at it. I think it's especially with the Pendle Hill stuff, there's such gorgeous storytelling the way you've done that.
yeah, yeah. We filmed all the content for that in Berry, and we looked like complete nutters. So me and my friends, so the whole video is basically me and my friends. It was directed and shot by Antonia. She filmed everything. Antonia's Superwoman. She works full time. She's a personal trainer. She does our TikTok. She's just like the biggest, most amazing help. And she's just like so powerful as a woman. She did that. And then we all went to like the middle of nowhere in Bury and filmed this video, but it was Storm Dave at the time. I mean, there was just like no other day that we
Yeah.
could do it. And obviously you've seen the content that's come out of it. We're all wearing like dresses and no shoes because we wanted to keep it quite authentic. And it was absolutely freezing, like really, really cold. And like the wind at one point, we were literally getting blown over. It was like 40 miles
No.
per hour. It was crackers. Do you know what? That was really fun. Like I highly recommend going into the middle of nowhere and acting like a witch with your best friends. It's good work. It's good
It
fun.
works for the song, though. I think I mean, when I was watching it, I watched it and thought that looks like that could be Pendle. I think because of the
Yeah,
building and stuff. I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like good part on the location scouting there because
Yeah, so
never would I believe that that was Berry.
so our drummer Dan and Antonio actually walk their dog there. So they already knew of this spot.
Oh,
So the week before, me and the band had gone on this pilgrimage to Pendle, which is a whole nother story. Um, because we went at night and it was really scary. Like
oh,
we
you
were
don't do Pendle at night. That's
walking,
like
it was
terrifying.
genuinely really scary. So we were like trundling through this forest at night in actual Pendle, um, but yeah, they found the location just from dog walking.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think
Hmm.
as well at the moment, I think getting up, I know last time I tried going, it's really hard to get up to Pendle Hill itself as well because it's quite high up from what I've known every time I've tried to walk. Every time I've tried to go, I tried to go and then COVID happened. I was meant to go with my auntie for a uni project. And when I was doing it, they went into lockdown. They went to COVID lockdown, a second COVID lockdown. I was like, that feels like a sign, just a little bit, to like not get into Pendle at that time because it was like,
Yeah,
ha,
it is quite a spooky
good
place. Like
timing, yeah,
when you're like walking around it, there's all like the witchy shops and all that.
yeah.
It's really cool.
So a
But
lot of
I
shadows,
lots
lots of shadows.
I'm quite into spooky stuff though. When
Yeah,
in the daylight, I love spooky stuff, but in
absolutely.
the nighttime, I'm like, I get really scared.
That's very fair. I mean, with the music video, what would you say was your favorite part of doing the music video for Pendle? I'm really excited to see like the full thing as well because it just sounds
You know what? We're
amazing.
not bringing out the full
Are
thing.
we not?
No.
Ah, I thought you were putting out a full music video.
Um, Loungewear is still up, and that's that was a really fun video. We filmed that in Trav's mum and dad's lounge.
Oh, I
Because
love it.
they had like this red curtain that when the sun shone through it, it just created like this really amazing backdrop, and it's literally like we're just in one room the entire video, just dancing in front of this curtain. But I think like visually and aesthetically, it works really well. But yeah, we're not doing a full video for this one. Maybe in the
Ah,
future, because I still have I obviously have all the footage, so I could edit it into a full video, but I don't know.
I think if you did do that, I'd say like I'd say do it on like another witchy holiday because I think releasing Pendle Hill itself on Beltane is a great idea. I think it'd be
Yeah,
really interesting. You could always like be like, oh, actually, what is there in the calendar? What
yeah,
could I pop in? You could do like a solstice maybe. Put it on a solstice or an equinox kind of thing.
yes, maybe a Halloween. We could release
Oh,
like
that would be good.
in and like release a video on Halloween, which would be quite fun.
That'd be brilliant. So
Yeah.
I've got quite a fun question for you now. I think you might like this one, especially with kind of the shift around in the band. If you could join any band or group, like present day or past, who would you join for a day and why would you join that band?
Oh, that's such a fun question. I'm gonna have to take a little minute to think about this. Who would I join and why? So when I was younger, I was really into the Doors. I had like
Ooh, that's a good
major crush
one.
on, yeah, I had a major crush on Jim Morrison. I used to
A canon
really,
event, if you ask me.
yeah, a canon event. I used to really want a tattoo of his face on my leg. Like that was going to be my first tattoo was to have this Jim Morrison portrait on my leg. And I'm so glad I don't have that now. So I'd probably join the Doors.
That's a good one. I think as well. I think that's quite a good one in the sense of you've got the whimsicality and the mystery. I feel like that works really
Yeah,
well for the Doors. Actually, I like that.
yeah. I love their music. I love and I that to me at the time when because I discovered the Doors in like my formative years and to me they were just like the epitome of rock and roll. I just thought they were just the coolest people. And yeah, I probably the Doors.
I love that. Oh, that's so good. That's brilliant. So, kind of another fun question as well. When it because you do a lot of recording and film of content, and it can get a little bit tedious. I think some people would say on there.
Yeah.
But what kind in your downtime from recording and filming and making music, what kind of things do you love outside of music? What do you kind of the minute you get out of that recording studio, what are you like? Right, this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to sit down and do my favorite thing.
Oh my God, that is such like a hard question because I feel like all I do is like music, work, um, probably sleep. I love to
Sleep.
sleep.
Mood.
I'm a very busy person, Jess. Yeah, yeah. I'm super busy, so probably sleeping a lot. I love to eat as well, I like eating out, and I like seeing my friends, family, and all that sort of stuff.
That's good though. It's kind of like because you're getting out a bit and you're getting your rest in and everything. I think that's like one of the awful things of the modern world is literally is like every time like oh I'm gonna sit down and do something nice. There's always something going on.
Fully.
It's
And
always
I mean, that's
insane.
another issue with like having a constant little device strapped to our hands is that we're always reachable as well.
Yeah,
One of my favorite things to do is to just go on do not disturb for a bit because I've got quite
yeah,
a like heavy job as well, like on the side of being in this band. So sometimes I just like to go on do not disturb and just have some like real me time because it's just not
yeah.
something I get very often. So yeah, probably.
Yeah, and that me time could like look like anything. I'm very much I got really into colouring. Colouring. I'm like a little old lady. I colour and I embroider
I love
because
that.
like which is great fun. My fingers are covered in pokes from every time I've like tried stitching. But
Cute.
I'm stitching. I've actually got it near me as well. Funnily enough, I have actually literally got it sat by me. So I'm doing like a little. You can't really see it, but I've
Oh
done
my God.
like it's like a little bookshelf one.
Oh, cute.
But it's
Can
like
can we commission you to do one for Pendle Hill?
I probably could though. I could probably do like a full embroidered music video, maybe do
Oh my
like a
God,
full like little embroidery.
that would be so cool. I like shopping. I'm a big fan
Yeah,
of
I
vintage.
love a good shopping
Yeah.
myself. I have to stop myself after work because I'm like, oh, what can I get today? And I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. And then
I'm
90% of the time, like,
I'm currently wrestling with the amount of stuff I've got. So
yeah,
yeah. But me time, that's what I think that I like to
yeah.
do.
I mean, you're gonna have quite a busy few months though, actually, aren't you? Because it's
I
like
think
you've got
yeah.
so much planned.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of festivals in the summer. We're just about to confirm a couple more, so they'll come onto our socials as soon as we get, I guess, the contract through. But they're kind of verbally agreed that we'll be showing up at these festivals now, which is really exciting. I love playing festivals because it's just like a total brand new audience. Like I love playing support slots for that reason. So yeah, we've got them. And then May is actually quite quiet for us, which is a nice break. Because it means that we can do some more writing because writing is just not something we wrote two new songs this year. We wrote Pendle and we've wrote Marcel, which will maybe be the next single. And we wanted our kind of target for the year was 6 new songs. So we've done 2 so far because we've been so busy. So I'm hoping that through May we can find the space and time to do some writing because we obviously at the start of the year we had changes. We had Spag join the band, which was awesome, and then our live performance changed a little bit as well. We went on to in-ears and playing to click and stuff like that. So yeah, that was like we've been quite busy. So writing is something that's took a backseat, but through May, I think we'll be doing lots of that. And then before we get into the full festival season, which is really exciting.
Do you think you might do some writing during festival season? Because I know you always hear stories of like musicians like, yeah, I wrote a song like there's like in the new Ray album, they wrote like I think they played a whole saxophone like bit in
Oh,
one of the songs and then it's not on the record because the record had been pressed when I think they'd added it on at the end. So it's on the Spotify and on the streaming services, but it's not on the record. Do you think you'll
um,
do a bit of like writing, maybe writing some songs maybe while you're on the way to festivals and stuff?
um, maybe. I think that I have to I can't say this word, but I'm going to attempt it. Is it compartmentalize?
Compartmentalize, yeah.
Compartmentalize. I have to do that. So for me, it's like I can either do focus fully on live or focus fully on writing.
Yeah.
I'm no good at kind of like changing
It's like
hats.
multitasking kind of
Yeah,
thing, yeah.
I much prefer to like put all my energy into live or put all of our energy into writing as opposed to like, yeah, doing a couple of different things because it gets a bit confusing.
Yeah. So one last question, kind of for you.
Yeah.
What lyric? Because especially kind of talking about writing, this was great. What lyric means the most to you within the Pendle Hill track,
Hmm.
and why do you love that lyric the most in the song?
I like the lyric steeped in sage man, steeped in sex. I think as women, we are born in this earth and we're assumed to be either mothers or sexual objects for men. You know, all of these like different ways that men look at us. And I think that that line is kind of like a reclamation of the word sex as a female. Whether that made any sense, I don't know. But
That made sense to me. And
okay.
then just kind of like, because I know we've chatted a bit about what you're up to this year, but kind of what have you got kind of planned this year? I know you've got festivals, you've got
Yeah.
music. What's kind of in the stars? What can Marie Franc fans look forward to for 2026?
So obviously Pendle Hill came out today. So that's something to stream and look forward to. We've got we're currently booking a full tour next year. Me and our agent are looking at that at the minute. So that'll be a full tour across the UK, including all different cities. So that's really fun. Obviously, we've got a festival season. We're going to bring out 2 more singles. So there's just loads going on, which is really exciting.
It's a big year for Marie Franc by the sounds of it.
It is a big year, but do you know what? Last year was a big year. We've only been doing this properly for a year. So we're in our 2nd year now. So we are in our infancy as a band. So, and you know, this is kind of all of ours within the band. This is our first time like doing this to this level. You know, even though I was a musician in 2014, it wasn't something that I took as seriously like as I do now. So we're kind of just making it up as we go along, really. We have no
And that
real structure or strategy, but yeah.
And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people underestimate the time it takes to be a musician and to be in a band as well, because you're not only handling yourself, you've also got everyone else. And I think it's very interesting when you go from being a solo musician to being in a band, because then it's kind of like, oh, it's not just me anymore. I've got a kind of there's a lot
Yeah.
more collaboration happening. There's a lot more kind of organization kind of thing from,
Well,
from
like,
what I've seen anyway from bands.
yeah, and I think for me, especially as a female, like I can sometimes come across quite bossy. But I think there needs to be one steerer within a band. And I think I've just always fallen into that role of like being the steerer. So if
Yeah.
there's any managers out there listening, please get in touch with us because I'm sick of it.
Big poster, the most
We need
wanted.
manager.
Marie Frank need a
Yeah,
manager.
I can't be our manager anymore.
I'm gonna finish off. Where
Yeah.
can people find Marie Frank on social media, streaming
Yeah.
services? Where can people find Marie Frank online?
So you can find us on Marie Franc Music on Instagram. I think we're the same on TikTok, but I don't have anything to do with our TikTok. The Spotify is just Marie Franc and it's spelled with a C, not with a K. And I think that's all the places we are, to be honest. We're on like Apple Music as well, so you can find us there. So yeah, I think I've listed them all. I think we're going on YouTube as well.
It's been so lovely to chat to you, though.
No, not at all. Thank you so much for chatting to us. It's nice that we finally got to meet you after a little bit of time.
Next will be actually getting to a gig. I will be coming to a gig and being standing at the front and everything.
Yeah, definitely get in touch.